Hello there, folks. How is it going? Okay. Shanwei, what language is that one? Hey, we're picking up some people. All right. So we had a patron poll. And so the patrons have decided that we're going to have both OSV and SOV be like equally good word orders in this language. Okay. So that is going to be a note that will stick here. We'll stick in here. Uh, we'll have another subheading under morphosyntax and sort of constructions. Most common transitive word order is SOV or OSV. They're just equally good. And we'll make this a heading. Heading 3. No, heading 2. And it'll be good. Let me make actually so that I actually have that as a heading so I know where that is. It should be heading 1, I think. Okay. Now, before we do any example sentences, there's one extra thing that I would like to determine. And for that, we're going to have, well, let's open up the dice tables. We're going to actually go and get the first dice table I actually made in this. And never mind the fact that it is always just constantly like janky about where this table gets placed. But we have the question of whether there will be articles in this language. Because if you are going to make example sentences, it's kind of hard to do that without knowing if there are articles in the language. It's kind of it, it's it's because the dragon ate the meat. You're not going to know if there's a "the" there or if there's going to be an "and" when there's an indefinite. So I'm going to go ahead and I will stop the presentation so that you can see more clearly. And we're going to go to our dice, have a roll. 72. Now let's share our screen again. And with a 72, we have okay, 72 means there are only definite articles. So we have, let's go navigate back to our draconic notes and we're going to add in, we'll just make a section for determiners generally because we don't need a whole section about articles at this point. home, heading 2. No, heading 2. There we go. Definite article. So let's actually go and let's investigate how we can do a definite article. So let me see what I have on grammaticalization of definite articles. Don't mind all of my things here. Um, yeah, World Lexicon of Grammaticalization. We can look in here first. Um, do, do, do. Yeah. Temporal conjunctions tend to, demonstrative determinants tend to definite articles. So, yeah, okay. So let's look for definite. So this is, okay, from definite to superlative, we want to, okay, demonstratives tend to go to definite. So we have this, um, so that became the, we had, in Basque, we have this me, Hungarian as well. Lots of examples here. Let's see if we can find other. Okay, it only has demonstrative to definite, huh? We can also take a look around just Wiktionary, uh, the. And what we want to do is we know the etymology from Middle English they, from Old English they, the, or that demonstrative pronoun, but we want to take a look at the translations of the article, and we can sort of look around. We had Basque in there. We can take a look around at, mm, well, we can have uh, Tokpisin. So this dispella, dispella, also from a demonstrative, and then we have Maori has singular and plural. That's something that we can consider here, and they're not related. That reminds me of another piece of that. I do not want to be listening to myself. Okay, then we'll take a look around. Okay, we get French. I think, is this from a demonstrative or from Latin ilium of ile. Oh, also a demonstrative. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things you could do. So the demonstrative is interesting. It also means that we have to get into what the demonstratives are, and that means we can. How about let's do it this way? So I'm going to actually, in this case, run and find a source for this in the demonstratives, but we need to determine what demonstratives exist. Um, now I have my table here, but I'm not sure if I want to actually roll because looking at it, you see, so we have three or more distance distinctions. Distance plus visibility, distance plus elevation. Um, I am thinking about whether I'll just fiat include either elevation or visibility. Elevation in human languages, obviously, elevation is most likely to be uh, something about like uphill and downhill, right? But for dragons, they are they can fly. They have to maneuver in three-dimensional space. So I think that up and down demonstratives would be very important. On the other hand, they will have directionality on verbs too. We'll have to figure out the source for that. Um, and we can figure out something about that. So since they have the directionals on verbs, I think we can leave it to chance on the demonstratives, and then sort of their constructions in one way or another are going to include some kind of like information about elevation, whether it's actually encoded in demonstratives or not. So let's go ahead and roll these, and we stop that. Go here. And we've got 53. And we'll jump back in. So with 53, and get the presentation shared again. With 53, that's between 47 and 84, then we are going to have three or more distance distinctions. So, so here, there, and yon, basically. So let's let's get that sorted out. And okay, so let's actually go ahead, and there are three demonstratives. And we're going to, since we do mark number, I do have some things about that. Where are the tables for those? So, um, can demonstratives agree with the number of the noun? I don't know why I don't have that for um yeah. So if there are nouns that are marked for number and I roll more than 42 on this, then demonstratives also agree with number. 64. So our demonstratives agree with number. So we're going to have a chart here for insert table 1, 2, 3 singular and plural and proximal uh, what are the actual terms to use here? Yeah, just demonstratives. We're not doing the demonstrative pronouns are going to be more complicated because then I have to figure out how cases. Wait, cases are not marked on pronouns. I have to check on that. Um, so let's see. Yeah. Okay. So distal and proximal. Okay. Okay. Distal, medial, and proximal. Yeah. So here, there, and yon. So we have these. Let's um we can check around and see if there's anything about a source for demonstratives, but I think we'll just let uh, I think we can probably just let it be at that. We can take a quick look, right? That that yeah. So that was Proto-Germanic. That was just a determiner of some kind. We can probably just keep with demonstratives. Let's make our demonstratives quickly, and then we can get on to some example sentences and start building up. So sometimes we pull back and get a little bit of foundation, and then we pull back forward. Let me bring the chat out because I forgot to do that. So I'm going to pull up our tools. We're going to get started on this. And I'm just going to, what am I doing? Okay. I'm just going to, just to start with, we're going to generate a few basic roots that we're going to probably change in some fairly irregular ways in order to get things started. So let's just get here. P is a good one. U, u, kind of works. Ikya, ikya, ikya. I can deal with ikya. P. It's P. Hmm. P. I think actually I don't want P. I can work with Ikya on something. So we get Ikya up there. Let's go do some more. Iku. Iku is looks really good. Um, Ifa, K is good. K, so K and Ifa I really like. Let's generate one more time. Kya, Kya, Kya, Kya, Kya, Kya, and Chai, and Chai. Okay, and become Chai. Okay. So I think that this I'm gonna illuminate. No, we have a good. Yeah, I'm going to change all these and let's see what they look like with our sound changes. By the way, I have made an adjustment because of the way that I have made my sound rules work. I actually can make the ah vowel actually neutral, and something that falls out of that is that I can make it so that like it when it's the only vowel, it actually doesn't change the the tenseness of affixes. Doesn't change the ATR in affixes, and so we get this wonderful irregular, somewhat unusual derivation for the root for dragon, which was ga, which became gadi, and then instead of gade, it's gadi, and and then gabe, of course, ga'a, and instead of ga'und, it's ga'und, ga'und, ga'und, ga'und, and then ga'e instead of ga'e. So I think I'm going to keep that. Sometimes the default vowel will give you like the weaker version in affixes, but I kind of like the idea that dragon in particular is going to have this special marking, especially since it's a really small root. We kind of ended up with this really small root for a very important root word, and I want to keep it unique in some way. So Uh, I by the way, I have made a quick little Excel spreadsheet to make this conversion easier. Um, to where I just type the root here and it puts it into the format it needs to go into Lexergy for all of the different forms, and then I plug that into Lexergy, and I'm good. Let's actually plug these into Lexergy though. And because of how I've changed my things, I have to put pipes everywhere now. and load it. What am I? No, not load it and apply it. So ega iku ke ifa jai jai and ge. So out of those, which ones do we like? Let's let's bring. Let me bring the chat up again so that I can see what you guys are thinking. Yeah. I Well, I'm not going that in depth on things. I may end up doing suppletion on a few things and making actual like irregularities. But like I kind of like the pseudo irregularity here. Hi, Jonathan. So we were just talking about getting the stay as long as you can. I'm happy to have people for however long they watch. I know that there are some people who watch after the fact, which is interesting because my stats go up afterwards. Uh, but let's. I just got into. I was dealing with making demonstratives, and we're kind of in a stage where I have generated a few roots, and I'm sort of deciding what I'm going to do with them. Yeah. So let's go. I think that we can do a little bit of a fun idea here. We can, so let's, how can I move this window around? So we've got these. I'm thinking to have one of these be, so we can take a look at this and also at like the case marking for nouns. So nouns are marked for case number and number. Pronouns also have case. So pronouns have this isp, um, the isp suffix. That is interesting. And then nouns have these these things. I think the yeah. So this actually should be a U, and this actually should be E, E because it's a little bit weird. So we have a choice of doing something here, or I didn't think about. So there's no actual. There are no case agreement features in Grand Bank, which is unfortunate. So I can't do the case agreement with dice at the moment. Uh, Maybe that's something that I can add in the future. Uh, yeah, let me just double check. Actually, I'm gonna quickly make, yeah, look at features. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so it just says are there for core arguments and non or for pronouns or not pronouns, and there's no indication. There's no features. There's features for whether something agrees in number. There's features for whether a particular word class agrees in gender. There is no feature for whether something agrees in case. So I'm going to make an executive decision that the demonstratives, like the demonstrative determiners, will not agree with case. And then we can think about what happens when they become demonstrative pronouns, because pronouns do have and pronouns actually have a nominative and accusative. Uh, so we can consider whether that is something that we can work with. So so we'll just do our proximal, medial, and distal, singular and plural. And we've got a couple of different options. Let me put this to you guys actually. So here's the options as I see it. If we're going to have agreement with the demonstratives. Uh, Number one, we can make them all totally unique. So every single one is a root. I don't know. Like when there's number agreement, obviously I'm going to have roots for the three different distances, right? But I'm not so sure. Um, I'm not so sure about making the singular and plural different roots, but I will put that to you guys. The other two options are either they take one of these, um, something that's related to these, and that will fit. No, I don't think. Right. Okay. Either they take the nominative plural from nouns, or they we go down to pronouns, or they take this isp suffix that we discovered on pronouns. So, wait, no, the isp is a accusative. There isn't actually. Okay, my brain is not so. Okay, so the difference is going to be no. There's nothing from adjectives we can do. So this is what either we have the suffix, or we are going to have uh, separate singular and plural roots for each demonstrative, or um, it's going to have a completely different affix that we will figure out. So let's do that poll. How is plural marked on the demonstratives? And we will go, here we go. Separate roots. The what? Control C. Why am I not Control C, Control V? I don't know. I'm just going to have to type it. suffix from nominative nouns. A brand new suffix. Okay. And I'm going to take this off screen and start the poll. And you guys tell me what you think. And so while we're waiting on that, we can go take a look around at these different roots, and we can think about at least for the singulars, like what are the three that we want to make into the into the ones. I think chai has to be one. Chai iku ekya ekya iku. Let's actually pull out the from Lexergy the output forms so we can see. So Jai is going to be one. I kind of want Jai to be the distal one. Um, we got 6 votes and it's a tie. Okay. Um, I'm not a g g. It's g. How did that became? It got fronted. That's cool. We got to keep this one. So if we're going to have get, I'm not going to have ke. I want them to be fairly similar. Um, if there's anybody who hasn't voted yet, okay. All right then. I'm gonna to end the poll, and we ended up with separate roots and the suffix. You know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. Instead of doing pulling out a runoff, we're gonna use both of the winners. So let's think about how about on the distal, there are 2 separate roots. But for the other 2, then they actually no, not distal. Distal would be no, distal would be pretty frequent for dragons because they're flying around, they see things, they talk about there's something way down there. They're using the distal quite a lot. So we're going to have the distal will have 2. So I'm going to say that Jai is one form for the distal, and we will go with Ega. Okay. And we will have Ge, and then Ge. Let me double check how what does this so let's pull this in here, and I'm going to quickly check the Lexergy because I believe that this is actually going to do some funny things. Apply. Get a. Yeah, it would be get a. Get and get a. What should be? Why is it? Oh, I didn't actually make it into. Okay, let's apply that again. Get a. And then we're going to make this between Iku and Ifa. I like both of these, and we're gonna have a little thing of which one. Now there's an odd number of people watching and only two choices. So this should not end up in a tie, but we'll see. What is the proximal demonstrative? And then it's iku or ifa. And start the poll. Hold on. If I can see the button, whatever. So we have a poll. uh, tell me what you think should happen here. Oh, it's a fight here. I'm watching. It's going back and forth. People cannot decide. Okay, that's everybody voted, and Ikit won. So let's do the thing that we did before and take Ikit and Lexergy-ize it to make sure that we know Ikı, Ikı, Ikı, Ikı. So this is the kind of thing I really like um, in conlangs, because like please you're telling me about doing different declensions and different like irregular things. I like it when you like it's cool to have like actual just random irregularities, but I really like it when you take something that's totally regular, apply some simple rules, and you get totally different things. So we have here the plural ended up being an a. Here the plural ended up being an İki, iki, get, ge, gea. So it's like it's regular, but it has this like regular irregularity to it. Vowel harmony is really good for that kind of thing because of so many things changing. Um, but there are other things like our deletion rule. I discovered also as I was like constructing things that we had a funny thing happen here because this ends in a schwa, and this root ends in a schwa, and it's a lax root. Something happened here that um so the schwa gets deleted and replaced with this schwa, huh? Which actually is an uh actually is underlyingly an right? It's ube, ube, but because vowel harmony of the root supersedes the affixes, it became ube, ube. So what happened is the third singular object forms and the first person plural object forms are the same when you have a root that ends in a schwa. That's one of these. That's just one of those funny things that can happen when things. And I think I'm going to keep that. It's just going to be a weird little ambiguity. Maybe if you really need to, you can disambiguate it by using the free pronoun forms. But otherwise, yeah, if you say ngitaba, ngit, that's it. Ngit, ngitchitabe, then it's ambiguous whether you are saying um, they ate me, they eat me, or uh, they eat him. So okay, we've got these. So what I'm going to do is the loser of that poll, the IFA, I'm going to make that the definite article. And I'm going to here's the executive decision I'm going to make. If people complain enough about it, maybe I will come back with a vote on it. But I think my decision is going to be that IFA was the definite article. Uh, was was a demonstrative that got displaced by EQ and became the definite article. And then as it became an article, it got eroded to just if. Um, so here's the last thing we're gonna determine on that is that um, there is a way with Graham Bank to determine like whether the article or the demonstrative comes before or after the noun. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to ask you guys. Um, we just need to know for the article for now, and maybe the demonstrative will be basically the same. We'll just say, um, do article does the definite article come before or after the noun? And I need to turn that into a poll. Before and after. What happened there? Oh, okay. Starting. So we have, okay. All right. It's super close. Okay. It looks like everyone has voted. I'm going to end the poll. And it looks like there's a little bit of an advantage to after. So let's build our first example sentence. So, and we're just going to use some words that we have. So to demonstrate these things, so we have, so let's, so ergative, we have the ergative for, well, I can just do it from here. Ergative for gadi. So God, gadi if, gadi if, and we've got badaf, and that's going to be accusative. So badaf be, badaf. Oh, badaf is going to have the same weird thing that ga has. So what is the? Gonna double check. Yeah. So it's still be, badaf be, badaf be. I have to make sure that I'm badaf be. I'm just let's say not a definite on here. We'll just keep that indefinite, and we have our meet chita, and it would be third person singular. Uh, by third person singular. Aba chitabe. Gadi if badafbe at abachitaba chitabe. Gadi if badafbe abachitabe. Or so the thing that I'm demonstrating here is actually we can exchange these and it's equivalent in meaning. It may be that there's some very subtle pragmatic thing of whether you are focusing on the dragon or on the meat. So you can also have badaf badafbe gadi if abachitabe abachitabe. uh, so let's see. Gadi if badaf gadi if badafbe abachitabe badafbe gadi if abachitabe. So there is both of these mean dragon eats meat, and yeah, so we can tell which one. We can even do a little bold thing to indicate and choose what's colors that will be, I think, if we uh, go with blue and I think it's like an orangish to be somewhat colorblind friendly. And we'll do the same thing down here. Yeah. So this is the two different licit ways you can say the dragon eats the meat without doing too much. So now, the dragon eats meat. But this is this is not complete because now we go back to our verbs and we've done all of our agreement stuff, but we have not done we need a we need mood, and we need perfective and imperfective aspect, we need mood, and we need to have the causative and the directional and associated motion marking. I don't know if we're going to get all of that done today. I think I want to try to work a little bit on aspect and mood. And so we can have our TAM marking worked out. Now, there's no tense in here. There is no tense. Um, thinking off, uh, thinking about this on my own, uh, number one thing I do want for this language is I want there to be an imperative. Right? I want there to be an imperative mood. So moods imperative. Imperative is one of the moods that we're going to have. The reason I have this is we are making I kind of want to know how imperatives are formed in the first place. It's important because so we are making verbal components for spells. And there's lots of different ways you could think about a spellcasting language, right? Um, one way is the it's is like supplication. You are asking for something from something. That's something that we'll probably do for the languages that divine speakers use, the like celestial, infernal, um, abyssal, because they are explicitly asking, especially like clerics are praying. Um, warlocks are drawing power from their patron, so they probably are like talking to their patron. For draconic, draconic is much more. It's used by like wizards and sorcerers, and um, possibly bards a little bit. And so wizards and sorcerers, they have two different things. Wizards are understanding how magic works and studying it and making things happen. Sorcerers are like drawing power from within. And I think for both of those, I think most of our things are going to be actually indicative, because I think it's cool to have like the idea of you make a statement and it becomes true, sort of like in Lord of the Rings, Gandalf says to Sauron, "Your staff is broken," and the staff actually breaks. That kind of effect is one thing that I would want to do. But another thing is, you know, if I was doing like the more like divine things, if I have a spell that is um actually influencing someone to do something, like a charm spell or a suggestion or any of those that control other people's actions. If it was divine, then I could still make it sort of intercessionary and like, please make him do this or something. For this, I think that is going to be a direct command. Power word kill is gonna, it could be, you point it and you literally say the imperative form of the draconic word for die, right? Something like that. And suggestion is you're going to make a command, although I think suggestion might actually have to be in the language of the creature that you're targeting, but I'll make an incantation anyway, probably. Um, uh, so imperative is going to be important. What other moods do we want? Um, this is another thing. Maybe if you guys can throw out some ideas here, we can. So we have indicative is just going to be the standard, right? We have an indicative, and another thing I want to think about is like I kind of want the moods that are marked on the verb to compete with the aspect. So, like the aspect distinction is negated when you have a mood that's marked on the verb. We can throw in thinking about things like potential. So that's can. Um, mm, yeah, things that not aren't necessarily going to be used in spells, like sort of adjussive. Let's do this, maybe. Um, there's optative. I'm not going to do a subjunctive because subjunctive means so many weird things. Those are some of the ideas I have. So let's think about that. So I definitely um oh and we need to have some kind of a should. Yeah, have a should. I think that definitely we're going to mark this on the verb. I like imperative verb forms, and we can do some fun things with that. Mm, uh, with potential, then we could go with either a modal or we could go with modal or marking. I kind of am leaning toward a modal. I think I'm leaning toward a modal on all of these. Oh, it's obligative, right? And like I'm throwing these labels on, but like the details of how they get used can evolve. It's not going to necessarily be all of that. Another thing is when we have modal particles, we can come up with a few of them and then maybe add some later if we feel we need to, because like you can run into tons of modal particles. Oh, modal modal auxiliaries are how English tends to do mood, right? And there's can, may, might, would, could, should. There's tons of them, right? And some of them are like derived, like you have shall and should are actually that's the present and past tense of those. That's not going to be a thing that could happen in Draconic, but it's interesting. You have this is not you you have in my own dialect of English a couple of cases of modals that can be put together, like might could, into a phrase and combined for effect. So that's an interesting thing you can do. Um, let's actually let's have a general irrealis actually. Just a general irrealis mood. Might, may, and I'm going to actually. So I'm going to mark an irrealis on the verb. So verb marking. I'm not sure what of these I'm going to do. I'm thinking that these will all be modals. Modal, if I even have it. Modal. Okay, so we're working on this. So realistically, we just need to have the verb forms that we have. So, and then aspect, we just need some kind of affix that gives, we can come up with some different aspects. I'm gonna look one up. I think I want to, yeah, so universal. So used to describe an aspect. Gnomic is considered to be neutral by not limiting flow of time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, mm, yeah, so, yeah, so like a gnomic aspect. I think we're going to have a perfective marker and then a gnomic for universal truths. So our sentence here was just plain imperfective, and it's just this particular dragon uh eats meat, right? But I'm thinking we can have a gnomic aspect. If we have a gnomic aspect, then that would be a marker that you'd put on the verb that would mean that in this sentence that would mean dragons in general eat meat, right? So let's actually get there, and we're going to let's come up with the affixes for these, and let's have another poll. Let's ask you guys what you think we should do for um should mood and aspect be marked by prefixes, suffixes, Or I'll just throw this in there, a mix of them. And we will just throw that out there. See what you guys think. Now we have both prefixing and suffixing on the verbs. We have with the agreement, we have suffixing in other places. We have our nouns exclusively use suffixes for inflections, and so we can sort of think about whether, now I do kind of want, in at least some places, for mood and aspect to compete, but we could be a little bit, if we get a mix result, we'll think about what we can be, how we can be smart about that. Okay, just waiting for a couple more votes to come in. And honestly, so what, for these modal ones, I'm probably going to think more about what the modal actually is, and some of the modals might actually take more than one job, because that's a thing that can happen. I forget the terms, but basically your moods divide up into whether they are imagining a world that is a possible world, a world, whether by its probability, or imagining the world by its desirability. That one's deontic. I forget what the other term is. Okay, we've got couple more votes out. Throw your hat in. Tell me what you want, and we will figure it out. Okay. Since this doesn't seem to be moving, I'm going to end the poll here. And it looks like you guys want me to do a mix. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to make the aspect markers both suffixes. Hi, Miles. How you doing? We're just in the middle of getting mood and aspect morphology worked on. The imperative is going to be a prefix, but irrealis is going to be a suffix, and that suffix is actually going to be competing with the aspect markers. Hmm. Yeah. Well, you have fun, Miles. Miles is going on a double date. So we've got this. We've got the idea. So let's think about. So for aspect, I think we can actually let's. So I don't look at everything, but uh, yeah. So finish, stop, end can often be perfective. So we can think about that. Um, what is that about? Perfect. Oh, the perfect mark. A perfect marker can become a perfective. Uh, and let's see. Mhm. And we can get, yeah. So this just has like things that have to do with finishing. I'm thinking we need a word for stop. Um, we need a word for stop, and it would be really cool if the word for stop also means land, and like the standard interpretation of that is to land, but it also meant stop, and it became also this perfective suffix. So that's where I'm going to go. Let's go and generate some roots. I am still using the test roots that we generated, but I'm going to use those on my own as I'm doing vocabulary building. So we're going to instead go in here and we're going to go just hit go, and let's see what we've got here. We've got chae ati afiae ikab. ikab. Let's actually plug these into Lexergy, see what they actually give us. So apply. So chai adi ofai. Oh, I didn't know that I could get that. I didn't do anything to deal with I never actually did anything to deal with a hiatus. Ofai, ofai, ofai. But I don't think it's that big a deal that it happens. So okay, we've got five. I think I did is a little more interesting than adi. I would not be ikab, ikab, ekab. Okay, I have to know how to pronounce it. Ekab, ekab, chae, chae. Oh, yeah, with the stop in there, it actually works well. Um, ate, ati, ofai, ofai, ofai, ofai, ofai. I think when the way that we've been doing, I think that the way that we've been doing, um, I think that so so we had a thing for morpho-vowel deletion, right? I think that I'm actually going to make this happen regardless of whether there's a morpheme boundary or not. And that will actually, uh, oh, it's parentheses. Parentheses. No, it's not happening. No, I still have a class of vowels. Let me just quickly check here. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay. It's a question mark. So we'll go check that. Question mark. Ofe becomes ofe. Okay. So let's go with that. Um, I have particular ones that I like here, but I'm going to take out adi and I'm going to give you the other ones. So we have chae. I would not be unhappy with any of these, but I have a couple of particular ones that would be a little bit more fun. Buffet. See appuie and icab. And you guys can vote now. What is our verb stop? And that will help determine what our aspect marker is. For and while I'm waiting for those results, I can also take a look and see, does this have any mention of gnomic, or do I have to think about that myself? Yeah, it doesn't mention the word gnomic at all. So we can figure that out in other ways. We can take a look. Um, does Wikipedia have anything about I maybe have to study a little bit. Oh my! I think we have a winner almost here. I think I'm gonna have to dig deep to find out anything about mimic, but we can look for sources for imperative. Yeah. Okay. Um, this only is talking about imperatives in relation with other things, the like prohibitive and hortative. So I'm not sure. I think I can just spin up an imperative prefix that I don't have a source for. Um, one thing about imperative is imperative often will just like nuke other forms of the verb. And this is not only so, although we do have um, we have singular and plural you forms. So how is that going to happen? Are we going to yeah, nuke. I mean, it nukes agreement because it's only you only do imperatives with a second person subject anyway. So you often don't need to have that. I'm not sure. Like it's if the imperative was related to the causative. Oh, that's a cool idea. We need a causative, right? What if the causative and the imperative were the same? But without I have to think about what the causative construction will look like. I have to think about what the causative construction would look like, and then what the like the whole sentence level construction and the imperative construction would look like if they were the same. So I'm going to end this because it looks like we have a winner here. Chae, chae, chae means stop. So let's go ahead and we'll go and find the root. People are here. Okay. Let's go find from Lexergy. We go to the input. So this is what the input looked like. Let's put that into our, I'm going to just put it into here. And okay, I need to make this for um, the, I can do this quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make it this and this and a pipe. I have a stray. Yeah, I know I have a stray quotation mark. I'm trying to fix it. And we're going to do that. How many of those do we need? So I'm going to have to fix that for. Um, yeah, I don't. We're going to actually change this so that we get. No, it's this one. So ta, three. What? Did, did I not? Okay. Ta, three. Why is it not doing anything? Three. Uba. Uba. And okay. Okay. Okay. That should be all the forms I need for an intransitive verb. And that way we will have that. Why did I? Oh, okay. I have the wrong thing here. Chai. And then we're going to, I'm just doing this so that I have all the verb forms ready to make this mean stop. Gchae, gchae, bechae, tachae, drichae, ubachae, ngichae, ngichae, ngichae. So we've got those. Those are the forms of this verb, and then we are going to. I will input that into Obsidian. But for now, we need to think about cha-e, cha-e. So cha. I think just cha is what ended up being the. We could do cha or we could do che. I think cha, because of the stress, the initial stress, it's probably just going to be cha. So let's go with cha. So perfective suffix cha. So now we get to our sentence. And I'm just going to grab one of them. And this is, you can't really make an English sentence that actually, so here is our example sentence that we made before. With perfective, we can say, Gadi if badaf be abachitabe abachitabecha abachitabecha. And this is the dragon eats meat. So the dragon is eating meat. Is or was eating meat. We'll translate it this way. Or the dragon ate so the thing is, eats meat has a specific thing. What will that mean in the present? We'll have to think about what a present, like a temporal present perfective actually means, if it means anything. So let's just be. So that's Gadi if God Gadi if badaf be achita be it achita becha achita becha. Ab abachita becha abachita becha abachita becha. Gadi if badaf be abachita becha. That's got an interesting rhythm to it. I've decided that prefixes don't take stress. If you're wondering about how I am pronouncing things, so stress is initial on the root, but not. But prefixes don't take stress. Abachitabacha. I think it sounds better. Otherwise, it's abachitabacha. Abachitabacha. It's abachitabacha. But abachitabacha. That's a little weird. Abachitabacha works better for me. Now let's go with the nomic. If we're going to do a suffix for the nomic, you know what? Actually, let's do a prefix for the nomic, and you'll get where I'm going here in a second. Let's figure out what is going to be our word for the quantifier all. And we'll get there. We're getting a little low on time. We go ha. Oh, we've got some good ones here. Ha and aka. No, I'm just going to make it an executive decision here. We're going to have ha. Yeah. Just just make it ha. So ha, ha. So ha. And so that got stuck on and became a gnomic aspect. So we get the gnomic is a prefix ha, or it could be a suffix. No, make it a suffix since we actually have some things afterward. But it meant all. So gnomic. And for this one, we're going to have a little some other forms different. Okay, I'm not going to make them all ahs. I see that that's happening. Both of our aspect markers happen to have the vowel ah, so we're not going to do that again. But we need to. I'm going to. No, I think we keep that. No, how about this? Okay, so in English, if you have the dragon, that can be part of a gnomic construction. I'm going to change it in Draconic so it cannot be definite. And so, but the idea is this is dragons eat meat, even though it isn't literally translated that way. That is how you do a gnomic. You have to have an indefinite. It has to be indefinite. It's not going to have a definite article. You can do either singular or plural. So you could have what is the plural? Um, you could have gaunt. Gaunt. It's not gaunt. It's gaunt. You could have gaunt, right? You could have gaunt um, in here as well. Got gaunt badaf be abachitabacha. Abachitabacha cha abachitabacha. Abachitabe abachitabecha. Abachitabecha. Abachitabecha. Abachitabecha. Abachitabecha. Abba. Abachitabecha. Abachitabecha. Abachitabecha. Okay. You can have, you could have it as Gotland. Gotland. But in this case, it's Gadi. Now, let's go ahead and do our irrealis. So we can, I'm sure that there's something in here about irreals. Well, there's an, there's only the, there's only an abbreviation. So we have to think about what could an irrealis mood come from. I think maybe it's just a modal that got stuck on a long time ago. And so we don't necessarily need to, we can generate some words and get an idea. I'm going to exclude anything that ends with an ah, just out of principle here. And we're going to go with that. So let's generate some more. Ngi's gonna be confusing. Angka, Angka, Acha, Eka. I don't like in any of those. Uchin, Uchin. This could work. Uchin, Uchi, Uchi, Uchi, Uchi. Okay, so I'm going to, what I'm going to do here is, yeah, so Uchi, right? Uchi, Uchi. And then let me, I'm just going to take forms from, yeah, what, so let me, okay, so I need to have the, I need to grab that and put that in the dictionary now. Should have done that. Right, okay. Verb intransitive, because transitivity is important, very important for this language. And then I'm going to just paste the forms themselves here. I will worry about making it a table later. Just getting ready to And then let's go back and let's get we've got the uchi, uji, uji, right, uji. And then let's go back and we get chitta, get the root for that. You'll see where I'm going in just a bit. C, V. No, I need this. And then we're going to go back over. We're going to go to Lexergy. We'll paste that in. And with this, and oh, we're going to have some fun things happening with forms. So chitta, and what is my other chae? What was my oh, I need to clean up my dictionary and make sure that all the words that I have created are here. So let me go ahead and get it from here. Get it from here. Look at the agreement. I had chitta and kiche. So we apply that. Gachita the j. Gachita the j. And then gu kiche gu kiche the g. Gukiche guji. Gukiche the g. Gukiche the g. Gukiche the g. Gukiche the g. So the g. Okay, so this is the one for eat, right? And it deleted a vowel. So this is something that we will have to keep in mind when we use our Irialis form. Um, for now, I have decided that they'll just come after the object marking, but you could put it before. I don't know. We can come back to that and change it if we want to, but I'm just going to make an executive decision on that now. And so we have so we go and how about this? Okay, so verbs. We have Irialis. I think that Irialis needs a helper. This is our last thing that we'll say, and then we'll call it quits. Is that Irialis is a construction. It actually needs a particle. And when we get these modals, these will also go with it. You know what I'm saying? This is specifically marking the irrealis, but you get another modal. And so, um, let's actually leave it there, and we'll just come up with our potential jussive and optative and obligative constructions with the irrealis marker. And we're going to come up with our imperative prefix next time. Now, next week in the United States is Thanksgiving. So I am not planning on doing a stream then. Uh, I will say I do have a pretty big interview coming up soon. So you can look forward to watching that. Other than that, I'll come back on December 1st with a stream definitely, but probably not going to be here next week. Um, so thanks for tuning in, everybody who did, and I gotta say, happy conlanging, and and